Hi, my name is Allie, and this is an overview of the malware.txt file and how to use it. If your account has been deactivated for malware, phishing, spam, or performance, a malware.txt file may have been generated for you. In this situation, you can use our professional cleaning services, hire a security firm to clean your account for you, or just do it manually with the malware.txt file as your guide. Now, to start with, you need to actually get to the file. You'll go to your control panel and scroll down until you get to the Files section. You'll click on the File Manager, select the Home directory, and Show Hidden Files. Then click Go. And from here, you can see there's your malware.txt file. Go ahead and click on it, and then click Edit, and edit again. Now, before we go any further, you need to keep in mind that the malware.txt file is generated using specific greps which the Terms of Service Department has created over long periods of time. These are incredibly intensive commands which are very hard on the servers, and we will only run them if we have to deactivate your account. We will not scan, search, or create a malware.txt file for you on request. They're simply too hard on the servers. Now, first thing we want to look at here is this. Now keep in mind, your malware.txt file may differ slightly from what is seen here, simply because there are several variations. First thing we're going to look at is this. In this case, the grep fixed any 777 permissions for you. 777 is too high for a secure server. In some cases, you will need to change these permissions yourself. The default for folders on our server is 755, and the default for files is 644. Now, you'll see this file path for each of the files listed in your malware.txt. It's important to be able to read these. Home 3, or home whatever number it may be in your case, is the partition on the server that your account is hosted on. The next folder, in this case malware O, is your username. It's your account. This is the home folder. So, for example, when you come into the File Manager, the home folder is represented by this little house. Next, you'll generally have public_HTML, followed by a number of other folders, and then at last, the file name. If you want to very quickly get from one place to another within the File Manager, you can actually highlight everything after the username onward, copy it, and then paste it in this box at the top right here. Click Go, and here we are. Next, we come to this section. This is the only section in this file where you do not have to double check to see whether these are legitimate files or not. We know with 100% certainty that these files are malicious. We do MD5 sum checks for these files simply because they are so common in hacked accounts. Next, you come to this section, which will show any folders that we believe are entirely malware and can be completely removed. You do need to check first, though, because they do have false positives. This example doesn't have any. Next, we have FTP hack folders. If you see anything here, it means that you're the victim of an FTP hack. Basically, the hacker has gotten a hold of the password for one of your FTP accounts. The solution to this is to remove the folders and then change your FTP passwords. Keep in mind that your cPanel username and password also constitute an FTP account and need to be changed as well. Next, we have this section, which has files which we believe are usually malicious, and you should be able to remove them safely. However, we're not 100% sure. For example, functoins.php is a spam script. If you actually view it, you can see If you look down at the bottom of this script, you'll see spam completed, which makes it pretty obvious that this is not anything legitimate. On the other hand, not everything in this section can simply be deleted. For example, uploadify.php is almost always tagged because of the way that it is coded, but it's generally not problematic. However, you do want to check just to make sure that no malicious code has been injected into it. Next, we'll move down to the main section. The files listed here appear to contain malicious code, and you'll want to review them just in case. Now, right off, we can see that there are a lot of files in the shop site images directory, which have been tagged. We've got the files in buttons, JavaScript, backgrounds, and so on. You do want to check these files one by one, just in case. However, since they're all in similar folders, we can rule out a lot of them. For example, this index.php file in the buttons directory has clearly been hacked. This means that we can probably delete everything that's listed in the buttons directory on that list. However, it is safest to check. In addition, we can probably also do the same to everything in JavaScript, backgrounds, HTML editor, and so on, under the logic that they may have the same thing. But again, you need to check to be sure. Next, we see some files in the public HTML folder, so this is your main website, with sort of generic names. Now, if you know that that website is, say, a WordPress site, then add bars, list, marketing, requests, SEO, options, and so on are not valid WordPress files, and you can probably just delete these. However, you may have something custom. Next, we'll move down to the redirect section. As you can see, looking in the public HTML folder, there are a lot of folders with sort of general names. Advertisement climbing David Lewis, Bandage Achieve Adrian Patterson, and so on. Most often, if these folders don't have the names of one of your add-on domains, this means that you've gotten a redirect hack. What a redirect hack does is the hacker will send out spam linking to yourdomain.com/countrysidecrowdnicholas.edwards/index.htm, which looks pretty harmless. But if you actually view the file, you'll see that it actually redirects to a different site, in this case the dietsolution.com. This is a form of what's called black hat SEO. Basically, they're trying to get the dietsolution.com higher in the search engine rankings by having a lot of people linking to it, in this case without knowing about it. Now, this is bad for you because a lot of search engines and third parties have put measures in place to keep these sorts of things from succeeding. It can result in your own website's SEO ranking being penalized for having these bogus links. In the case of a redirect hack, you can generally go through and select any folders that you know are not related to your websites, and just delete them. And now, we'll move on to the very bottom. You may or may not see some extra things listed here, but they're important to look at. For example, this dkj.php, while not a very common hacked file name, happens to be a shell script. Shell scripts basically give the hacker complete control over your account, even more control than you personally have through the control panel. And there is nothing that you can do to stop them from accessing your account until that shell script is gone. Finally, we want to look at these translations. The malware.txt file will generally tag any translations in a Slavic or Far Eastern language, simply because a lot of hacks include those languages. If these happen to be legitimate translation files, you probably don't need to worry about it. But either way, you'll want to download the latest clean versions of those translation files from the source, just to be certain. That finishes the malware.txt file itself. Keep in mind that it is not infallible, and there are some things that it may not find at all. Because of this, you'll need to go through every file in your account and make sure that it is legitimate. If you don't think that you can recognize whether files are legitimate or not, you'll probably want to speak to a cleaning service or a security firm and have them do it for you. If you have questions or want to utilize our professional services, call us and ask for our Terms of Service department. Thanks for watching and have a great day.